Okay, so our first restorative pose. We have this roll that we make with our blankets. So, and I always suggest to keep a piece in the back, just in case you want to adjust the thickness of your roll. So you make sure that it is even. So think about the princess and the pea. If there is one thing that's going to trigger your nervous system, because there's like a big bump in your roll. So take the habit of just like checking if it's nice and comfy. And then we're gonna go and sit a little bit in front of it. So where the blanket is, the roll is gonna come under our shoulder blades. So our armpits are gonna be at the edge of the roll. So I'm just gonna roll myself down. And then I'm gonna adjust. So take your time to adjust. And then I'm gonna slightly roll back till my head is on the floor. And maybe your shoulders normally are not on the floor. They should still be lifted. And then if for you the head back like this is not comfortable, if your blanket is sticking out, you can lift it up or you can put a little pillow. Try not to go too high because then automatically the shoulders are going to pop up and we're going to close up the chest. So the goal is really here to, through gravity, let the chest open, let the shoulders fall back. And I know that if you have very stiff shoulders, this might be a big stretch for you. So there again, if this is too much for your shoulders, you have two options. Well, actually three. One is to unroll a little bit so that you're less curved. The second one is to put something under your shoulders, just a pillow, something soft. And the third one is to just get out of the pose. Okay, so we're gonna a little bit make sure you're comfortable. And then you can bring your arms in Shavasana or you can bring them in a half T. Ideally, you go in a half T. If you don't have the room, you can place them in cactus, but that's maybe too much of an opening. So find a place where you're comfortable, where you have space. And then let's take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, allow your body to fall into that blanket and gently coming down. So in the beginning, the first couple of breaths are going to be a little bit more difficult because we're holding. We don't know what's actually happening. This is a curve in our spine. Our shoulders are open, our chest is open. Maybe there's some pressure on your vertebra in the back. So with restorative, ideally you're comfortable from the first breath, but it's possible that your body just has to adjust. And the adjustment is purely a letting go. Sometimes we are holding because we don't know what it is. And then if you slowly allow and dare to let go, you might find a little bit more comfort. And the last thing before I stop to talk, if you feel that your lower back is a little bit too curved, you can bend your knees and maybe lift your bum and then bring your tailbone a little bit more towards your heels. And then your choice to keep your knees bent or lengthen them out again. Usually we bring the tailbone a little bit more to your heels. The lower back gets a little bit more space. And then just breathe calmly. We'll stay here for another 10 breaths or so. So if you want to stay a little bit longer, please stay. Otherwise, take a deep breath in and a long breath out. And you can, by all means, exhale through the mouth, letting go. And then very slowly, we're going to bend our knees and then roll over to our right side. And we're going to just lift ourselves up just a little bit. Take our blanket and bring it a little bit lower. So we bring it into the waist. And then we're going to take our right arm and make a pillow with our right arm, or take a real pillow. And then our left arm, if we want, we can just bring it overhead, or we can keep the left hand in front of our chest. So whatever is more comfortable, your knees are bent. So we don't want to stretch our left arm all the way up to the front. We don't want to look for that stretch. So just find a place where it's comfortable. So we're just naturally opening and releasing here on the left side. So make sure your blanket is at your waist and not under your ribs here. And here what we're actually doing, we're also helping the internal organs by starting on our right side. The weight of our body is coming down onto the right side organs, mainly the liver, the gallbladder, and then where the intestines start. So we're just giving a little bit of pressure there to activate if needed. And then 3 more breaths here. And then with your next inhale, gently press into the floor. Press yourself up to turn around and then going to the other side. So again, making sure that the blanket, the roll is in your waist. So coming up to the left side, making a pillow with the left arm, or grabbing a pillow, bending the knees, and then wherever your arm is, the right arm is the most comfortable. So it doesn't have to be at the same place as the other side. We're looking for comfort, not for stretching here. And so by now coming onto your left side, there is a movement happening in your intestines. So the weight is pressing there. So if ever you have a belly ache or stomach ache, lying on your side, on your left side, most of the time will help. Let's stay here for 3 more breaths. And then very slowly pressing your right hand into the floor and coming all the way up. So we're going to come into a seated position just for one movement. So find some comfort in your seat, sit on something if needed. We want to have the spine straight. So without pressing, without pushing, remember restorative is not about stretching. We just again want to give a little movement to our internal organs here. And then we can go into the real relaxation. So take a breath in, lengthen your spine with your breath. So it's not about pressing all the muscles, just feel what the breath can do for you. And then exhale, turn towards the right. You can place your left hand on your right knee or right thigh. Your right hand somewhere in the back. It doesn't have to be very far. We mainly are going to work with the breath here. So inhale. And then exhale. Exhaling through the mouth. So without collapsing into our body. Inhale. And again, we start with going to the right side. Inhaling. So maybe you're not moving at all, and that's fine. Just breathing will bring this relaxation, this calming effect into your internal organs. And then with your next exhale, coming back to center and just stay there for a moment. And then inhaling again, finding a little bit more length into your spine. And as you exhale, turning to the other side. So again, very gently, don't pull here. We have the habit sometimes to pull to go further, and it's fine when we do the regular asanas. But now we're just very gentle with our own body. So maybe even feel how your breath is moving you, so don't resist the movement created by the breath. And then with your next exhale, let's come back to center. So we're going to move into our supported child's pose. So if you're using the same blanket, you want to make a bigger roll. You can also add some pillows, and if you have a book or a block or whatever, to lift the end up. So this might still be very low and way too low for you. So you want to construct something like this. I'm going to show you with my bolster. But so you want to be able to build something very similar. And then again, if your knees are hurting, you can grab another blanket or a pillow and place it behind your knees like this. So you're sitting a little bit higher. If your ankles are a little bit too, like if they're like this and just bring the weight down, you're gonna have to hold because this is not stretchy. Put a roll, a towel or something underneath, and that's gonna help. If all this is not working for you, take the chair. So I'm gonna show you. You can take the chair, and you have some options for your legs here. So if you take the chair, you can just cross your legs if you want to, if that's comfortable for you. And then cross your arms and bring your forehead onto the chair. Or if crossing the legs is not comfortable, then you just stretch out your legs. You don't want to be falling back too much, but we're going to lean forward anyway, so your forehead will be resting on to your forearms. So the more you practice restorative yoga, you will know how you have to install yourself. So if you're using the bolsters or the blankets, you want to just have this construction just at the height of your knee. So you don't want to pull it in because otherwise your chest is not going to have too much space. So staying on the knees or putting a blanket underneath. Walk your hands forward and then inhale. And then as you exhale, turn your head to the first side that comes naturally. That's usually the easier side where there is less stress in the neck. And then just allow yourself to be supported by your construction. So for some people with the chest, it's not that comfortable. So maybe add a softer blanket or something. But we really want to be able to rest onto our construction. And then your forearms are flat on the floor so that you're not holding here, you're not pressing into anything, you're just releasing everything down. Your hands can be relaxed. And for a moment, observe if this position where you're in, if it's comfortable. If there's already something nagging you now, maybe you want to make a small adjustment. So maybe you thought that your knees would be okay, but sitting just for a few breaths, you already feel like, ooh, I'm not sure. So do the adjustments now rather than when your body finally starts to relax and then suddenly you have to jump out. It's okay if you're in a position that's painful, then you just come out. And then very slowly we allow ourselves again to sink into this pose, letting go, breath by breath, without thinking. We don't have to think about letting go. Most of the time we stop thinking when we're here, and then we breathe out and release, and release. We have nothing else to do. Release. If you'd like to change your head to the other side, absolutely no obligation. Gently press into your hands, lift your head up and turn your head towards the center. Stay here, and then as you exhale, turn your head towards the other side, and then come down. So you want to allow time for your neck to readjust. So stay for 3-4 breaths. If it's not comfortable, then just come back to the first side. If you want to stay longer here, please do. If you want to get out, deepen your breath just a little bit to reconnect with your breath. And then very slowly press into your hands, walk your hands back. And then let's unwrap our legs if we're on our knees. Just bring your legs like this, and you can fold forward gently, or maybe just stretch out your legs, whatever you need to do, but move very slowly. And then our next pose will be the one where we'll stay for a little while. So you can use the same construction. So if you were using a chair before, you're going to have to build yourself a little construction here. And then ideally, we're inclined about 45 degrees. So don't worry if at home you don't have all this props, like blocks and everything. Eventually, you'll find the pose that does the best for you. And then you will find the props that go with it. And I don't mean professional props, but just you will know exactly what you need to find your pose. So I have put 3 blocks underneath so I can really make this inclination. And then I have this construction. So if you're working with blankets and pillows, you can put some some pillows at the top, or books even, and then make sure that this is quite even and comfortable. So it doesn't have to be wider than you. It can be as wide as your chest, or maybe even a little bit smaller. And then for the legs, we have 2 options. So I'll just show them here. So your legs can be straight forward, Or you can put a blanket or a pillow underneath your knees just to protect your lower back. Or we have the option to bring the soles of the feet together. If you bring the soles of the feet together, you want to make sure that your knees are supported. So in the beginning, this is all fine, but after a couple of minutes, there's the gravity is going to bring your knees down, and then there's a big stretch that's going to happen in the groin area, which is not very pleasant. So you want to have that supported, soft support, so that your knees can still open, but a support for sure. And sometimes even when your knees touch the floor, for some people with very flexible hips, the knees touch the floor, but they just don't touch. And it's that last we're holding because we don't want this to hurt here. And then we're holding, we're not relaxing. So to go into the pose, you're gonna sit against your construction. So depending how high it is, you might want to just make sure that it's not too square so that your lower back is not gonna hurt. And then very slowly roll yourself back. So if you feel that your chin is really rising up to the sky, first thing to do is to place your hands behind your skull, interlace your fingers, and then pull the skin of your skull backwards so that we lengthen our neck. And then your chin comes a little bit closer to your chest. If that doesn't help, if it's still like this, then small pillow underneath your head. And then choose a position that's right for your legs. So and take your time to adjust. So if you feel maybe your tailbone is too hard on the floor, just move around, take some other blankets. Your arms are again going to rest, almost Shavasana arms if you were lying on the floor. Forearms are also resting on the floor. So if the distance from your shoulders to the floor, to your elbows, is smaller, longer than your shoulder to elbow arms, then you need to put something underneath to support it. And then once you're installed, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, settle into your pose. So settling doesn't mean like settling, like now I'm settled, like in a split second. You're going to settle more and more as your body releases. And then your mind is slowly going to release more and more. As I said before, this pose is really good for mild anxiety. I always say mild because I'm not there physically with you, so I don't know what's happening. So if you happen to have a stronger form of anxiety, I want to be able to watch you and be there with you. So explore for yourself. Allowing your body to release with every exhale. And releasing meaning just letting go of muscles, of holding. Maybe you can't feel that you hold because you're holding almost everywhere. So then just focus on one part of your body, by example, your shoulders or your belly or your hips. And just as you exhale, see if you can let go, release a little bit more. We'll stay here for a few more breaths. And again, if this is becoming bliss for you, please stay there. If you want to come out, again, first reconnect gently with your breath. If your knees are open to the side, bring your hands on the outside of your thighs and close your knees first. And then gently pressing into your hands, slowly coming up. And then bending the knees and then folding forward gently, letting your head drop, keeping the eyes closed. And very slowly moving to the side. So you can move this out of the way. Your construction, if you still have the blanket with the little roll from the beginning, you can take that back. So same thing, not too high, and it can be a little bit wider. So I don't know if you can see it. So it's a little bit wider. And then you can move the books or whatever you were using to put yourself a little bit higher on the side. And then we're gonna go with the legs up the wall or legs up the chair, but with this, with the help of this. So what we're gonna do with this blanket today is we're gonna see if we can really create that waterfall from our feet all the way to our head and have our upper body slightly inclined. So whether you're taking a chair or you're taking the wall to go in is the same way. So you can go and sit on this blanket. You don't want to make it too high because otherwise your back is going to be a little bit too curved. So bend your knees, place your hands in the back, gently start to go back and then turn onto your tailbone and then place your lower legs up to your chair, or if you're going against the wall, your legs up straight up the wall. And then coming down. And then you want your hips, your lower hips, so your bum almost to fall off. So if you're sitting, if you're on this blanket with your tailbone, then you're gonna feel that you create a pool with your belly. So the waterfall will not be able to flow. It's gonna stop for a moment in your belly. So you wanna move the blanket maybe a little bit closer towards your shoulders so that you really have that feeling that your tailbone drops off. Your back is gonna be slightly curved and then the water can flow. So it's opening a little bit in your belly. And then again, bring the arms where it's comfortable. If you need a blanket under your head, or if you can just place your hands in the back and then push the skin of your skull away and then coming down. And then release. So with legs up the chair, you should be okay regarding tickling in the feet. If your legs are up the wall, make sure that your legs are straight. Don't push them straight, but don't have them bent. You're gonna have to work too many muscles here. So you wanna have them straight, leaning onto the wall. If you feel that your hamstrings are stretching, it means you're too close to the wall. So you're gonna bend your knee, place your feet flat against the wall. Lift yourself up so you can move back a little bit and move your blanket with you. If this whole blanket thing is just creating more disturbance, toss it on the side, that's fine. But we don't want to feel any stretch. So watch out if your legs are up against the wall. No stretch. And then deep breathing, feeling how there is space in your belly to breathe into your belly. Just one or two deep breaths and then coming back to your natural breath. So good for insomnia, good when your legs are heavy, when it's a hot day, or you've been standing on your feet all day. And also very good, of course, if you feel exhausted, stressed. It's a very calming pose. So it's going to balance your nervous system. First, relaxing the body, because without the body relaxed, the mind cannot relax. Want to stay longer? Please do. Our next pose is already the final one, it's final Shavasana. So if you want to stay here longer and join us later for Shavasana, that's all fine. If you're ready to move out here, again, reconnect with your breath. Not with too much force, just becoming aware again of your breath. And then whether your legs are off the wall or on the chair, bring your knees into your chest. Take a breath in. And then gently roll over to one side. Choose a side that's comfortable for you. And if the blanket is like halfway under you, just very slowly take it away. You can use it as a pillow. And stay in this fetal position for a couple more breaths. And very slowly, just coming up to be able to find your mat, to find your position for your final relaxation, Shavasana. So for some people it's much more comfortable to put something under the knees so that the lower back can really rest on the floor. Otherwise, you're just gonna lay down flat on the floor, legs as wide as your hips, as the mat. Make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you're warm. Let the feet flop out. Let the arms be about halfway between whether they would be against your hip or open at the shoulder height. So about halfway, so that your shoulders can just relax. And if your shoulders are popping up, very gently press your head into the floor. Then roll your shoulder blades back and under. So really low. And then wiggle yourself back out a little bit so that you can feel that there's space in your chest, space in your shoulders. Make sure your forehead is relaxed, your jaw is relaxed. I invite you to stay here as long as you can, as you need, as you want. I wish you a wonderful evening. Sweet dreams. Namaste.